Hey everybody, Caleb here, and I'm pretty sure that we're live. I hope you all enjoyed that kind of intro thing I put together. A little bit of royalty-free music. I thought it was kind of neat, and it kind of gave a little bit of video from all of last year, and I thought it was pretty neat. Anyways, I think we're live. I'm seeing live chat and some viewers. That's really neat. I think I've already seen at least 2 comments from Europe. And that was really neat. In front of me, I've got, this is the Kirk Hammett electric guitar that I started part 1 of last January, and I haven't touched it much since then. I say much. This last week, I've actually run out of customer projects to work on, so I've started getting back into some of the stuff that I needed to get done. So this got grain filled and primed, and it needs some sanding done, so I thought I'd kind of work on that in the background while we went here. To kind of catch you up, I've already done a lot of neck work on this, so that it's nice and ready to go. All I need to do now is get this, so this is a primer. I've primed this. It needs to be sanded flat, because it's got some texture to it, and then I can actually start putting top coat, clear coat finish on here. It'll be a nice glossy black when I'm done. But this is a long step on its own. I'm reading comments here. I'm just making sure that I'm keeping up. Saying hello to everybody. Hello to everybody. I saw Kenneth Holiday, which I'm pretty sure was Eddie from Southeast Georgia. And I know he watches all the videos, so I'm glad to see him here. Lots and lots of comments from all over the place. That's cool. I guess I'm going to start sanding. But I don't know, this was kind of an idea that I've had kicking around for a while, is do some live streaming. If you guys have anything, Q&A that you want to do, now would be a good time to ask questions that I'm not answering any other way. Because I don't know what I want to do here. I wanted to do something live, something with the viewers. I thought that'd be neat. And the best idea I had was sand. So, it tells you how good my ideas are. In case you were wanting to keep up on what I was doing here, this is actually the second time I've sanded this. The first time I used about 220 grit. I'm using 320 grit this time, hoping that it turns out fairly smooth, but still enough to get some good adhesion when I go do top coat and knock this pretty flat. It's coming out very smooth underneath. See, somebody asked. I was ahead on that one. I had to make this block just for doing this. This is a nice mahogany block I just cut up a couple days ago, just for making a nice flat solid block that I can sand with. Hoping to get this thing done so I can get rid of it. Which seems like most of what I do nowadays. I've got quite a bit of the sandpaper lying around. This is actually the stuff with the adhesive back. I could peel this back and it sticks, but I don't really want to use it that way right now, so that's not what I'm doing. I was actually running out of sandpaper recently. I had to order some more. And I don't know if anybody else uses Klingspor for their sandpaper, but they have a thing where they make the sandpaper for like pads and belts, and the leftovers go in a box, and you can buy it by the pound. It's pretty cheap. It's like 10 pounds of sandpaper for $20 or so. It seemed like a good deal to me, so I bought that, and it's on its way, but it hasn't arrived yet. Ooh, I have a question. I asked you on one of your video comments regarding the fret crowning file, and I appreciate the answer, but how much of your file was removed? I can get that out and show. So, Jerry did this while I was there. This is the largest crowning file, and there's not that much removed, actually. I can probably zoom in and show this a little bit better. So I think you can see that really shiny spot. It basically has beveled it all the way down to where the file starts and then back. That's how much Jerry took off of there. That really does help get those, get a little bit closer and a little more usable. Trying to zoom out in the right amount. I've found that actually I tend to scratch up the fretboards a lot less with this. This is a lot more forgiving this way. Big improvement. I would definitely recommend doing this if you were doing a lot with the largest crowning file, and that's pretty much the only one I leave in here. Unless I'm doing something like a mandolin or something with extraordinarily small frets, I use the large one almost all the time. Paul asked how the new shop is going, and the answer is not very well. It hasn't come very far in the last couple of months. Once it got cold, we weren't working outside near as much, or at all, and so it's really not had much progress. I've really not got much to show for it. It's kind of a bummer. I wish it were doing better. But it is what it is. Hopefully once it starts to warm up, which, another, 2 months away before we actually start to get warm, we can get some real work going on it. I know, when I say we, I'm talking about me and Dad, because my dad helps me with that sort of stuff. Or he's most of the help there. I'm more like I help him. But anyway, we hopefully once it gets warm, we can get back to working on it. And I've been filming a little bit, so I'll be able to share it once it's a little bit further along the way. But right now, I don't have enough to warrant releasing anything. The sandpaper built up really bad. But I'm hoping we get that shop done, or at least most of the way done this year. Hopefully we can get into it. This is just not enough space for me. Troy's been over a few times to help me kind of move stuff around and everything. But I run into problems with space, or I run into problems with not having the tool that I want because it's in storage and I can't use it because I don't have the space for it. Because, for example, the disc sander that I have here is a cheap Harbor Freight thing, and it does not stay very still. It shakes as you use it, so it makes it kind of hard to do some really finesse sanding. But in the storage, I have a double Grizzly disc sander that works great, and I really love it, but it's too big to have down here, so I can't use it yet. So I'm really hoping we can get the new shop working this year. I hope. Do I have any plans to build an electric guitar? Alan Dust. I know that guy. Hey, Alan. I've been working on mine. Well, actually, I haven't been working on mine, but I should have been. I'm I don't know, halfway done building one, and I've been halfway done building one for probably a year. Hopefully I can get it done sometime. This is the one that I actually started at Jerry's. It's a body and a neck, and the fretboard is not attached to the neck, I don't think, and I haven't cut the dovetail on the body. It still needs to be finished being bound. That's where it's at, and it's been that way since I came home, since I left Jerry's. It's just been one of those things where it's going to take a lot of work to get done, so it's never been priority one because I've been trying to get stuff going that's going to get finished. It is what it is. It'd be nice if I got it done. That's another thing where it's like, man, it'd be a lot nicer if I had more room to work on stuff. because I really only have room to work on maybe 1 or 2 things at a time, just because I can't set it to the side as well, because I need every square inch I can get. I guess I can show it. I can go grab it. 1 second. That's how far along it is. It's like not far off being finished, but I haven't touched it in over a year. I don't think I've worked on it at all since I've been home. So it's just been sitting, waiting to get finished, along with countless other projects, like this one. I've got a whole bunch of wood. There was a guy while I was at Jerry's who had emailed him and said that he was retiring and had a bunch of back and sides and top wood. Like, there's a bunch of rosewood in there, and there's some mahogany, and I think a little bit of maple as well, that's thinned to about the right size for sides or backs. And there's some spruce in there for tops. And so anyways, he had emailed Jerry while I was there that he was retiring and looking to sell off his stuff, his tools and his wood, and if, you know, anybody was interested. And Jerry had emailed him back and said that he wasn't, but he had an apprentice who might be. So I had gone to meet him. He wasn't far from home, and I bought all his wood and his tools. That's those wood clamps you see me use every once in a while, the ones that are homemade. I didn't home make them. I bought them from this gentleman, and I bought all the wood, and there's like 20 or so acoustic guitars worth of wood that I've got stacked up waiting for a project. Rosewood back and sides and spruce tops, that sort of thing. So yes, I'd like to build an acoustic guitar. I've just not got the space and tool set up to do it right now. I see that was Eddie. I'm glad to see Eddie's here. Hope all's been well with you. Yes, you too, Eddie. It's been a long time since I've seen you. I think I was thinking about you the other day for some reason or another. I know. You left some tuners with me when you left, and I pulled another part out of them to use for another guitar. So you got used some more. So once again, thank you for the stuff you left with me. I'm still using it. I think we're still going, yep. Hit a gold mine with that gentleman. Yeah. I'm really trying to get this thing done. I'm in the middle of building a gym replica and the flame body of that Vibe playback. I keep getting stopped to work on other people's. Yes, definitely. That's getting stopped to work on other people's guitars. My problem right now is the whole. I do feel like if guitars come in, then I feel obligated to work on them, but also I can't afford to not work on them, and that's the biggest thing. So it's like, yeah, and I like doing the repair work, so I really do enjoy doing it. It just means that all my projects get set aside, which is kind of sad because there's some really cool stuff that I'm doing, I think. Well, I think it's cool. Somebody might not. Anyway, Old Hickory asked, did I ever decide to buy Jerry's deer antler saddle business? So I don't know how much I should say because this is Jerry and I's business. but I told him that I was interested. I was just not sure that I had the money right now to buy it from him. And that was the last time we talked about it. Personally, if someone else is going to be doing it, I'd like to be doing it, but once again, that's up to Jerry, and I have no hurt feelings if he would rather sell it outright for the money he can get for it now. Thank you, Tall Red Easel, for the $5 donation. I know you leave comments all the time, so once again, thank you for watching, and, thanks for the little tip. Means a lot. I'm not good enough. Jay Boogie, who was talking about building the guitar, says I'm not good enough to have a legit business. I can just do all the basics. Yeah, I was definitely there for a long time before I went to Jerry's. That was doing this stuff. It was doing all the restrings for all my friends and light setup stuff. But I don't know. I enjoy doing this. Well, I don't know if I enjoy sanding, but I enjoy repairing. Olav, I think it's Olav. Tell me if that's wrong, because it probably is. Said, glad to hear you guys have support from your father. Yes, I do, definitely. He does a lot of support for me since I'm living in his house. Yeah, I think he knows I'm thankful. I've been very lucky to have family support for doing this. Malcolm, thanks for your input to help me cut the saddle slot on my 12-string project last week. Oh, I remember that email. Thank you. I've decided to make a new nut for it. I'm thinking about 30 thou between string. I'm not sure. I trust you. I'm not saying I'm not sure because I don't think that's a good idea. I'm saying I'm not sure because I couldn't tell you off the top of my head if that sounds right. Did I learn my trade from Jerry? Yes. Basically everything I've learned in person came from Jerry. There are some things that I do that are different from the way Jerry does them, but Jerry will be the first person to tell you that there's more than one way to skin every cat. So there's more than one way to do every single job. And basically, if there's anything that I do different from him, it's because personally I like the outcome. The thing that always comes to mind is polishing frets, because I polish my frets a little bit different than he does. And it's just because personally I like the way they feel the way I do it. But yeah, no, everything... just about everything came from Jerry. 30 thou. How big is 30 thou? I'm still thinking about the string slots on that 12 string. Between the pairs. The advice I can give is mark it up with a pencil and see if that looks good. I imagine that that's the best way to tell. And I'm sure somebody could give you exact measurements on their own, because that's the kind of things that people on the internet are good at. Is here's an exact measurement that you should always be using for this, but really, if it looks good, it probably is good. I think I need a new piece of sandpaper already. This is just building up really badly. I'm going to grab a cloth to wipe this off as well. I'll be right back. Smooth. Cool. So I got rid of most of the orange peel on most of this. I can still feel it on the horns, so the horns need a little bit more. Yeah, Eric says, to each their own, mate, find your own way. And I agree with that. I mean, I am immensely thankful for having Jerry as a learning from him. He is one of the most common sense people that you'll ever know, you'll ever find. If it doesn't make common sense, he's probably not doing it, but if it doesn't make common sense, why bother? And I like to think that we're doing the same thing here. Love the way my Martin D18 came out after. Yeah. Setups. I really enjoy setups. It's probably one of my favorite parts of doing this, actually, is like being able to really knock them out quick. Is very enjoyable, and the amount of guitars I get to play then. I went with Troy to a guitar store Wednesday, and it was kind of fun walking through being like, oh, I've played one of those and it was nice, or you know, and looking for stuff that I've got some experience playing now. That's probably one of the best parts about doing this, is that you get a little bit more experience on a lot of different guitars. Otherwise, it'd be hard to know what you like in, you know, certain brands or that sort of thing. Like, you know, I don't know many other professions where you get to play as many different Martins. Because people send you their Martin guitar for a setup, especially the older ones that need them, and it's really neat. I see Carson said, nice stream. I don't know if you guys know this, but Carson's my cousin. He helps me with do guitar videos every once in a while. He edits videos and helps me out. Stands behind the camera a lot. So, thank you, Carson. Oh, laugh. Oh, laugh. I'm never going to get that right. Oh, laugh. Oh, laugh. Close enough. But, no, I definitely one of the cooler parts is playing all the instruments that comes in. Like I said, I went to a guitar store with Troy the other day, and we were just looking at stuff. And I've been looking at a new mandolin for a little while, and I have been totally spoiled by working at Jerry's on some of the nicest mandolins that you can get. It has 100% spoiled me on mandolins, because mandolins are expensive. You either spend $99 and you get a cheap, basically junk mandolin, and that's all the way up through, you know, $300. You can get a mandolin that sounds terrible for $300, or you can get a mid-range mandolin for $600 to $1,200. Mandolins are expensive. And I've been entirely spoiled by playing some of the nicest mandolins you could have at Jerry's, like the ones he builds. Three Card Monty says, glad I'm doing this live stream. I'm glad I've tried doing this live stream. I'm not sure how interesting it's been, because it's been me standing and answering a question for far too long and waiting for another question to come, but it is what it is. I hope it's coming out okay. I would imagine you guys would let me know if it sounded terrible or was totally out of sync or something else awful, but I hope it's okay. pretty much gotten the orange peel feel off of all of the flat surfaces. Well, this flat surface. Except for right here. Eric asks, what's that sandpaper that Jerry swears by? It's the 3M... It's Sandblaster Pro something or other. Yeah, it's really good sandpaper. But it only goes up... It doesn't go up super high, grit-wise. I'm not even sure it goes to 400. It'd be nice if it went higher, but of course I would imagine that's probably part of the clogging problem, is that at a higher grit it's more likely to build up. Bill says, nice job, man. I have a mid-range Washburn mandolin, good enough for the 5 chords I know. Play something. Yeah, maybe I'll play something later, but I'm not that good. I'm especially not that good on mandolin. I am just good enough to get by. How do you prevent a string from getting caught in the nut when tuning the guitar? You know, you get that ping sound. You could have a lubrication problem, which you can fix with like pencil lead. If you just take a mechanical pencil and push it out a little ways and run it in there, that'll help lubricate the nut. They also sell stuff, I think it's called like nut sauce. I don't know, it's got a really dumb name. And it's basically just the same thing. Graphite lubricant will help string slide through the slot. The other thing that could be a problem if you're getting a string caught in your nut is that the nut slot is too tight. Like it was cut for a smaller string gauge and now you've moved up. I've almost never heard of having a problem with a string being too loose in a nut. It's almost always the opposite. Not to say that it couldn't be a problem, because it definitely could be, but to a reasonable degree, I've never seen that problem. So it wouldn't necessarily hurt to upsize the hole a little bit. How I would fix that is the StuMac files, which I have over there. They're not an easy grasp. They're really expensive though. I guess you could buy a cheaper set and just use the next string up. Would probably solve that. The other problem could be that they're not pointed in the right direction. That's a lot of the problem when it's the G or the D string, because they're in the center and they usually, for 3x3 headstocks, they have to break at such an angle that they get wound up. They don't move evenly while the other ones go pretty straight. That would be my guess as to what the issue is with a string getting caught. Mr. Olaf, something like that, is leaving. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. J Boogie asked, what clear coat do you use the most? I find Armor Seal Wipe On Poly to be really good if you can't spray. I spray all my finishes. There's Mohawk makes an instrument lacquer. That's what I'm going to use on this. That's what I plan on using. Once you get a sitar sound if the nut slot is too big. You're going to get a sitar sound if the nut is buzzing on something. Back to the finish question. I've only really pretty much been using, there's Mohawk instrument lacquer. It comes pre-mixed. It comes in a can. You can spray it right out of the can. It's very nice stuff. It's what we used on Troy's guitar, but it's actually meant for acoustic instruments, so it's a fairly nice lacquer. That's what I plan on using on this. Clear coat wise, that's pretty much it, besides like the amber shellac for coloring. Matthew says, I'm saving his sanity. Well, I'm glad someone is. Could you do mine next? Michael asked, do you think you can work on a thin travel tenor ukulele with broken internal braces? It sounds like you're going to have to take or someone's going to have to take the back off of it. Ukuleles have a smaller hole. I kind of doubt you're going to be working in the hole. I could probably do it. You're talking about what I think you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about. The really thin ukuleles. Yeah, I imagine the back's going to have to come off of it if you're going to be working on internal bracing. Which isn't that difficult, I suppose. It really depends on the instrument. Eric says it's hard to get a lot of the stuff in England unless you pay silly money. Now, I was actually talking to Troy about this the other day, and I think it's really funny, is the Renaissance wax, the paste wax that Jerry uses, and I've got some as well, is made in the UK, and I've never seen it on like store shelves or in a catalog here, but I've seen a ton of woodworkers in the US who have it. So I thought that was kind of funny that, like, it's obviously one of the best options because people are buying it from out of state, out of country. Bill said he's cleaning up from yesterday's tornadoes in Aiken, South Carolina. I saw something about that. I hope that everything's okay with you all. It seems early in the year to be having tornadoes. That sucks. I hope everything's okay. It's at least early in the year for us to be having them. Of course, we haven't had a real storm around here in a long time, like tornado warnings. Matthew says, I'd love to use the Be Good oil, but you can't use it. You can't get it in the UK. Really? That surprises me. I've got some right here. I was just looking at it. The only reason that surprises me is because Klingspor, the sandpaper, is made in the EU, and Klingspor's woodworking shop is where you get the Be Good oil. Or is where I get it, at least. Interesting. Three Card Monty says, I use True Oil and wipe on poly for finishes. True Oil yellows quite a bit. Yes, True Oil does yellow quite a bit. Which, personally, I like for acoustics, like acoustic guitars, if you're doing natural finishes. I like the yellowed look, but I 100% understand if that's not what you're doing, that you don't want that. It's fairly foolproof, though, if you're okay with that. I've never used a wipe-on poly, but I can't imagine it's all that different. I also think True Oil is a lot harder to get a really high gloss finish on compared to like instrument lacquer, because as I've used both, and I use both at Jerry's, but instrument lacquer, you can get to a certain point, take it over to the buffing wheel, and you have a high, like, mirror finish polish. But on True Oil, it really doesn't want to do that. You have to be a lot harder on it to get it to polish up real well. But I do like the True Oil. It's easy. I definitely understand not liking to do like instrument lacquer because you have to, well, you should spray it. It turns out a little bit better if you do. J Boogie says he used the True Oil on a Telly kit neck, and it's turned quite yellow. Yeah, it's definitely got a color to it, and it's kind of that, and it's almost an amber color. It's really the color that the liquid is. It turns close to that color as it dries. That's interesting. Using True Oil on a Sonic Blue Jazzmaster kit. That's kind of cool. Howard, feed, and wax. Is that's like for wood, I assume? It was in response to not being able to get Be Good oil. Orange oil and beeswax. That sounds good. I'm a big fan of this stuff, the Be Good oil. I really like it. I don't hardly see very many people using it, and it's probably more expensive than some other options, but I'm a big fan of the whole fact that I'm not worried about what chemicals are in it. That means something to me. Carson just asked if the Be Good wood oil is food safe because he makes fun of me because I say it in almost every single video. I say I really like it because it's food safe. And in case you were curious, it's food safe. I think I'm just about done on the top of this thing. Still got some orange peel right on the transition, so I'll try to work on that. My bandana seems to be loose. I'm going to pick some of the buildup off of the sandpaper so I don't have to cut another sheet yet. I see J Boogie's talking about knocking over a bottle of yellow dye that they were using on another project, and now the back half is green. I don't think this made it into the video, but it was the Charles Lindbergh guitar at Jerry's that I was dyeing the bridge brown, I think. And I put the cloth on the bottle and just like, because it was that big bottle of dark brown, and just dipped it, and it splattered all over the top. So it was like, all right, great, go grab the denatured alcohol, try to get out what color I can, and that took most of it out, and then a little bit of sanding took a little bit more of it, or the rest of it. And it was a mess. So yes, I've been there, done that one. I get that dye everywhere. I cannot get it out without coloring my hands. Through Carmani says, I've used boiled linseed oil on a telly neck from Warmouth. Should I coat it with finish? Then should I coat the should I coat or finish the neck with true oil or wipe on poly or just leave it? Neck seems to move to every weather change. I don't think it's going to help you that much to finish over it. A lot of people like just the oiled necks. It might help your stability some, but I think ultimately, if you like it the way it is, you should keep it. I know Troy's guitar, we didn't finish the neck on it. We just oiled it a few times, and he really, really likes it. Yeah, I know a lot of people like the unfinished necks. There was a Martin I worked on at Jerry's that I scraped the finish off of and received a lot of flack for in the comments, but I also know that customer really liked it after it was done. And personally, I wouldn't have done that to my own guitar, but a lot of people really prefer the unfinished necks. Still got just a little bit of feel in there. Troy's leaving comments in the live chat. Three Carmani says I put a short scale neck on a telly. The 24 and 3/4 is like the Gibson scale, I think, right? And love it. Yeah. I don't know. I like my telly the way it is. Matthew says to build up layers of linseed oil. Yes, if you're going to finish your neck in oil, you need to build up the layers. One layer won't do it. It's like put it on, wipe it in, wipe off the extra, do it again, and then it's like just like so this is for cutting boards, and on the back it says for best results, once a day for the first week, once a week for the next month, once a month for the next century, or whenever the board is thirsty. And it's basically the same rules. I'm looking off camera to give direction, but you can set that over there. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, if you're gonna do the oil finish, you need to build up the layers. And it takes a few days or a week or so to really be at the point in which you're done doing that. I think I'm just about done there. I think I'm ready to flip this thing over. Now I get to do it all again. Andrew Whiteman says hi from England. We've got quite a few international viewers. It's very neat. It's It's got to be getting late, right? They're 6 hours ahead. So it's going on 10 o'clock. I guess it's a Friday. Good reason to. Eric gave me military time. Or, you know, the 24-hour clock, which I agree is probably better overall, but I'm no good at it. Ricard Monty says they're just getting out of the pubs in England now. Thanks for coming, Jay Boogie. He's leaving. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sanding and sanding and sanding. That's a lot of what I do. Least favorite part of the job and takes up most of the time. I think this sandpaper works better. I bought this stuff cheap on Amazon. I have no idea what it is. It's got a lion on it. Ricard Monty says, Caleb, do you watch, that's Ted, on YouTube. He's another luthier from Canada. I did for a long time, but as of recently, since I've been doing it on my own, I can't talk myself into watching other luthier videos. I just, because it's what I do all day, I have a hard time sitting down and watching them. If I need help on something, I'll go look. Yes, Eric is right. Ted is really good at what he does. Probably one of the best. You know, like, if it were painting, he'd be a master artist. He's very good at what he does. But if I need help on something, I can go look them up. Like, I'm not sure how I should handle this. But beyond that, I really can't make myself watch more after I've done it all day. How often do I give Jerry a call with a problem? I haven't. He texts me every once in a while if he's looking for something and I might know where it is. But I really haven't talked to Jerry much. I saw him Memorial Day. When he was playing. But I don't, no, I don't call in very often. There's not really anything I can't handle. Sometimes I look up to make sure that my idea is the best idea, and that's about it. Matthew says he finds it great to move on when he's struggling and do something else and come back when he has an idea. Yeah, I can relate to that. If I'm having an issue with something, it's usually best to not think about it, and then it'll come to me when I'm not thinking about it. This one's still very orange peel-y. I think this is rougher than the green stuff. What hardware are you using? Okay, so this guitar is an ESP. Yeah, it's an ESP Kirk Hammett. I have all of the hardware for it. I even have the hard case for it. So the electronics and everything, they're all still together. It just needs to go back in the guitar. When I bought this, it was scraped, not even clean. It had most of the finish removed on it. It was really badly sanded. It wasn't great, but we're trying to get this going. John just asked if this is one of my own. It is one of my own, but I plan on selling it when I'm done with it. It's not really my style of guitar. I'm not this kind of guitar person. But I know it's worth a little bit, so. And yeah, I am just refinishing this. Everything else works on this, I think. Actually, what needs replaced is the locking nut. The first video I did on this, because this is the Kirk Hammett, there's part 1 that's out. It was last January. Yeah, it's been a while. I worked on the neck, and I had to replace the actual locking part on the nut, because it's got a locking nut, because it's got a Floyd Rose on it. But it has the wrong size on it, which means somebody's replaced it along the way with the wrong width. So I gotta buy a new one of those. So other than that, everything is there and everything is working. Air gas, could I not wet sand on the higher grits? I could, but not on primer. There's not really a reason to. Wet sanding is more like when I'm getting closer to doing finish, like being finished. I'm doing mostly shaping on this because they're going to be more, like a lot more finish that goes on top of this. The clear coat, that is. 3 Carmani says, don't you hate it when a client tries to sand it themselves and they use 80 grit? There was what was it? It was a 1945 Martin 0015 or 0015 that had been very clearly had a palm sander taken to it. And the top was down to like 30 thousandths or so in several spots. And it was ridiculous and incredibly sad that a guitar that bad had taken, somebody just took it and started. Not great. Had to replace the top. That was at Jerry's, and that top floated around Jerry's for a long time. But Allen Aviation's talking about modifying his J bass, and guess what? I don't know anything about it. No, I'm not big. I don't have a lot of experience working on the electric guitars, actually, or basses. So I'm definitely not the person to ask on any of that stuff, but Eric says turn her over and rub her on the driveway. Well, if grit is measured by granules per square inch, then the driveway is like what? Half grit? Right? I mean, it's just a grit. It's just not the one you want. Michael from Germany asked if I'm planning on doing a full build video. I don't. I showed the acoustic guitar that I'm building earlier, and I basically haven't touched it since I came home from Jerry's. Beyond that, and I don't think I have anything like planned right now. Eric asked, what's the nicest sounding guitar that I've played? I think my favorite guitar that I've played, I think you have to modify that question by what type of guitar it is, because 12 strings are kind of their own thing. But I think the nicest 6-string guitar I played was a Martin at Jerry's. It was a... Troy's right, anything by Rogue. No, but... there was a Martin at Jerry's. It wasn't super old either, like the 90s, and it was probably the nicest sounding acoustic guitar I've played. 12-string wise, undoubtedly is Dan Lipsy's 12-string that I reset the neck on. It was a 70 Martin 12-string. It was the nicest 12-string I've ever played, like hands down. Which they're both Martins. Imagine that. I think the Martins. I think you can find Martin guitars that sound better than any other acoustic, but I think that they vary a lot more. I think you have to find the one that sounds better. They're not all the best. They just have some that are. And it depends on what sound you're looking for, because if you're looking for a louder, more bassy sound, that probably wasn't that guitar. It just had the best sound that I like. I'm trying to think if there's any other guitars that I really liked. I don't think that I have found a Gibson, like a J45, like a vintage one, a J45 or a J50 that I have disliked after fixing it. They almost always need about the same thing, but once you're done, they are far more uniform than I think the vintage Martins are. You kind of know what sound you're going to get into when you get those vintage J45s and J50s. Which I'm not saying that they're better than the Martin, but they're almost as good as the best Martins. But almost all of them are in that range once you're done working on them, because they almost all need work. because they bolted those bridges down and they like to pull cracks in the tops and the bridges come off and they can be quite the mess. But once you're done, I've noticed they sound pretty similar. Grab the white one. It's over there. And a block. There's a block in the wood bits drawer. I'm being accompanied now. I don't know if this makes more sense to put where.
Gonna turn my guitar board.
Yep.
You said white one. I thought you were talking about the chair first.
No.
It's like, what white chair?
The white guitar. Troy is joining me. I'll try to move this to where it's not quite so. Yeah, you're in for a, well, you're in for a treat if you like Troy.
And if you don't,
You're out of luck.
I'm here anyway.
There was a comment on a video that did not like Troy. I'll say it. It was funny, and Troy responded.
It was my favorite comment on that video.
It was funny.
What grid did you want to take this to?
I haven't touched it, but you can use. Actually, grab one of the hook and loop discs.
Are these actually 220 like the package says?
Should be.
Okay. Do I actually want to use 220?
I started on this with 220.
Okay.
Just for first shaping, I think is a good idea.
All right.
That one's on its first coats of primer. This one is hopefully on its last coats of primer. Also, that one's his. I'm not making him do mine.
Wouldn't stop you though.
Jerry didn't let you play his last hurrah. If you're talking about the guitar, I have played it. The mandolin, the world's finest mandolin, something, 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 something. I haven't played, but I have seen it. When I saw Jerry on Memorial Day, he was playing it. I think that was the first weekend he was playing it, and it's very nice. I helped him a little bit getting that shaped out, but that's been a long time now. I don't remember most of it. But I did get to see it actually played in person, and it's a very nice mandolin.
What a guy, honestly, for letting us borrow all of his tools for the build.
Yeah. Yeah, doing Troy's build in his shop was nice. And that's the biggest thing about being down here in the little room with only the tools I have, that it's like, man, I was so used to using the tools that I need and not the tools that I have.
I'm stealing.
That's fine. How do you know when to stop sanding? I'm stopping sanding when I can no longer feel orange peel. An orange peel is the thing the paint does when it dries. It feels like, or it looks like an orange peel. It's kind of bumpy.
I stop when I notice the guitar getting thinner.
When the guitar starts to get thinner, you know that you should have stopped a while ago.
I actually did that to that one over there.
Yeah, well, it happens. I have seen somebody do, so like if you're priming it in black, you take another color primer, like a white primer, and just do a light spray over the whole thing, wait for it to dry, and then once you've sanded all that white off, you know it's flat. So if you needed help, that would be a good way to know. If you need to know. Do you need to know?
The only thing that's popping in my head is, do I want to know, which is Arctic Monkeys, which you probably don't know.
No, I was thinking, it is Tom Petty, right? I need to know.
Yes.
Okay.
Not where my mind immediately went.
I've got to stop using my block for the cutout because it's in no way, shape, or form flat. I apologize in advance, says guide coat. Yes, that's what you would call it when you just like lightly spray over the whole thing. It's like on sanding, sometimes I'll do a checkerboard, like on a piece of wood, I'll checkerboard it with a pencil. That way I know if I've hit it.
For better or for worse, I suppose.
3-card Monty said Cowboy Troy is in the house. I do believe that was fairly common when you were in California.
Yes. Huh?
Eric says, I hate that. Oh, great, bare wood when I sand. Yes, that is the worst. And it's actually even worse when you're doing sanding clear coat on top of stained wood. And then, you're sanding, and it's like, and now the stain doesn't match. Yeah, been there, done that.
See, the solution to all of that is no paint ever. You just grain fill it and then stain it.
Like we did yours?
Yes.
Yeah, well.
You know what? All guitars should be just like mine.
Well, sure, if all guitars were just like yours, then yours wouldn't be worth anything.
It's not true. It's sentimental value. I do miss having a whammy, though.
Phil just joined, I can tell, because he asked when I'm going to build a Mills original. And I'm working on it. I've been working on it for 3 years. Not sequentially, but it's a very, 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 very low priority background project at the moment. I'm trying to get some stuff that's going to make a little bit more money. What's the plan for Troy's guitar finish? Do we want to share, or is it going to be a surprise?
It'll be a surprise for now.
All right, it's going to be a surprise.
All you need to know is that if we ruin it, it doesn't matter, because this was a guitar that I found at a pawn shop for like $70. It does not matter what happens to this.
So we're going to ruin it.
Yes.
I got 2 black thumbs.
Like, I'm almost debating why I'm even sanding it.
Also, it's smoother. But, yeah, you can see it's not a real nice guitar. Nice plywood.
Yeah.
But it'll get filmed whenever we do what we do.
The routing holes go all the way through in some places.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Good thing tone wood doesn't matter on electrics.
Are you going to start that debate?
It's not a debate. It's a fact.
Doesn't matter or doesn't make a difference? They're different.
Those are very adjacent things.
But they're different.
I'm going to say it only matters depending on what finish type you want.
It looks a bit Wayne's World at the moment. Because it's white.
I have not seen that in a long time.
Well, it's not going to stay white, or at least that's the plan.
Party on.
But back to Phil, yeah, I plan on getting it done at some time. It's about halfway done, I'd say. I need to finish the binding on it so I can route the next lot. It's an acoustic guitar.
I've got Wayne's World quote stuck in my head. Thanks.
You can thank Eric for that.
I have to go home and watch it.
Right now?
Yes. See you in a couple hours.
Okay. You just watch it now. I was gonna feel it, but I'm not sure that's a good idea.
I'm trying to just... It's hard because I'm, starting to hit edges and stuff.
It's the only thing I have that's not gonna turn it
the
black.
accurate gauge of...
Yeah, it feels smooth.
No, give it the old forearm test.
It feels smooth.
All right.
I mean, it's probably fine.
It probably needs it again.
Probably needs a little bit more primer, yeah. But this is the making sure that we don't have any major runs.
Should have started with this side. This side's much easier. New idea. We'll just paint and sand, all of the guitars before we put the holes in them. That way we don't have to work around them. Brilliant.
That's 10 years. Finishing is always the hardest part. Yeah, finishing is definitely... If it's not the hardest part, it's the most annoying part because it just takes the longest. Troy, would you like it to take a whack at saying that name from the north of Scotland? Hello from not the north of Scotland, but...
Shay Cruikshank.
It's Troy's fault if it's wrong.
That's the best I got. I could really butcher it if I wanted to.
Just call him Jim.
Your new name is Chuck. Welcome.
But no, finishing is definitely the most annoying part of doing all of this. Because you can be really far along and make tiny mistakes and then set you back another week, which you need.
Done with that?
Yeah, I'm done with that.
So we can get all this junk off that keeps scratching my beautiful primer.
This does not. It's very difficult to stand in this hole. Give me that block. Here, you can have this one.
I haven't even been using it.
Probably should be.
Why? It looks flat. Feels flat. I know exactly what you were thinking.
Not a big fan of sanding in the cavity here. It's not a lot of fun. Phil says he's glad I'm building original and I should keep the first one. Of course, most things have a price, and I would have to agree. Would you sell your guitar?
No.
Like, for an exuberant amount of money?
No. I don't. No. No. I would not. Huh?
Yeah, what if it's somebody famous? Wanted to buy your used piece of junk at this point.
It's never gonna happen. Not a scenario I have to worry about. That's my out.
You'd be surprised where
It shall be forever hidden away from the public eye, so nobody can ever make an offer.
Did the Martin Museum Factory tour a couple months ago. I think they had the millionth. Yeah, I've seen that, the millionth guitar they did. That was, I think, yeah, they did. Because it's all inlaid out. You know, it's like it's more inlaid than wood. I'm not sure about that, but might be a slight exaggeration. But yeah, I don't think yeah, everything's got a price, in my opinion. I don't have an instrument I wouldn't sell, even when that one's done.
Don't you think that everything has a price is a little bit of a generalization?
None of my instruments, all of my instruments, have a price that I would sell them for, yeah. I mean, it might be ridiculous, right? You'd be better off buying a different one, but I don't think any of my instruments are.
I'd probably have to be dead. Cause I got what I wanted. I don't like.
Yeah, but you could always build another one.
But I don't want to. I don't want to. Why would I do that?
Because someone just paid you 4 times what it was worth. Nope, that's one where I'm with Jerry, is I don't think I have an instrument that I wouldn't sell for a price. It may not be what the instrument is actually worth, but it's what it's worth to me.
I mean, but that build though, like I wanted that very specifically, like, and that was it. That's the only guitar I'll play.
That's true.
Which, at this point, it's one of 2 guitars that I own.
That's also true.
So, it's not like I've got anything else lying around that I can play in place of it.
Well, you got one until we build the other one. So, you know, another what?
Well,
How long did it take us?
I guess I have like 3 or 4 that are in pieces around here. I don't think those count.
No, they don't.
This piece of junk doesn't count. I think I've had a terrible but also great idea for a video. We go get like some rogue electric guitar, and
Okay.
then we just put the most expensive equipment into it that we can, and we just keep replacing it until everything is no longer rogue.
I've replaced the body. I've replaced the neck. We're done.
But it'd make for a good title, and then you just don't tell anybody by the end of it, and in the end you're like, wait a minute, none of this is original. But this.
Somebody's talking about their sentimental good instruments. I don't think I have an instrument that I'm that sentimentally tied to.
I wish I had kept my first electric that I bought.
The Washburn?
Yep. I wish I had kept it, but I didn't. I didn't even sell it.
Well,
I didn't even make money
you
off
could
of it.
feel better about it that way, though, you know?
Or it makes me feel worse. Well, if you're gonna get rid of it, you should have at least made
Some money
enough
off
to buy some lunch.
it. No, I think... I don't have any instruments that I'm that tied to.
I would also, but all of yours are like bought at this point, because you haven't finished them yet. Like seriously, like once you finish the acoustic, you'd just be like, yeah, I'll sell it.
I would. If somebody would buy it for what it would be worth to me. Which would be a lot of money because it's my first one, right? Because it's my first one, it would
Then
be
how much
worth
are
a
you
lot more.
talking?
A lot. I don't want to say anything on video.
Yeah, somebody would be like, all right then. Then you just never finish it.
That's why. Alright, so I don't know how much of you guys know the whole backstory there, but so Jerry's last hurrah guitar, which he built, you know, the last one he built on commission, was for Paul Wood, which Melissa worked in the shop with Jerry. She did the videos, right? If you guys are familiar with that, you'll know some of this. Well, anyways, Melissa was leading Paul on, saying that Jerry was done building guitars on commission except for the last one, and Paul was really upset and kept trying to talk me into buying mine when I finished it, And I kept having to be like, oh well, no, I don't think I can sell it, because I knew that he was getting one of Jerry's before he was done. So I had to lie and say I wouldn't sell it, but I would.
I missed a spot down here.
My first electric is in a bag over there.
Is that... Did we already throw that left-handed Rogue away?
No.
It's still here?
Yeah. Did you know it has a broken neck?
No, I didn't.
It's in the closet.
I did drop it on the ground.
Yeah, it's broken. Like,
That was actually
the neck does this at the heel, like right here. You know, the heel comes in and it takes some pressure, but it does move.
That was actually the first guitar that I ever bought, and I never played it because that one's left-handed, and now I play right-handed.
Yeah. My first electric's over there in the bag. My first acoustic is not worth selling because it's a first act, and is
What was the first electric?
the LTD, the black one.
Ah,
And I would sell it, but it's not worth any money. So, there's no point. But if somebody had to have it. Yeah, he's talking about rescalloping braces, and I would definitely agree. That's the problem with most guitars, is they're built for a consumer level, right? You know, they're built to be mass shipped out and have no issues, which means they're going to be overbuilt.
yeah.
For
All
most
this talk
acoustic
about
guitars.
acoustics is going straight over my head.
Eric says he has his first electric, a Hofner. I have no idea what a Hofner Colorama
I
looks
couldn't
like.
tell you.
1963. That's older than my dad.
Yeah, time to do the math and figure out how many times older it is than us. He's got a few dings in it.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was priming it.
Sanding edges is where I always take too much off.
You sand off the edges really quickly. Eric's telling me to Google it. I will later. I won't right now. My hands are a little dirty. You're gonna do it? You're gonna
Yeah.
Google Hofner Colorama?
Is it Colorama or Colorama?
Well, Hofner...
Hofner.
Through Carmine says, yeah, some of these mass-produced guitars are built like a tank. Definitely.
1963.
Definitely. They're just overbuilt. And that's like, you can buy a cheap Yamaha and it'll be the bulkiest braces you've ever seen. And the problem is sometimes they'll still come loose.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's like a double cutaway.
Are they all red? Because that's all that's showing up on Google.
I think it's funny that
No, okay,
they...
there's other ones. So they made it in one color and one color only.
It's funny, the color's in the name and they made it only in red. No.
Yeah, Colorama. Just red.
Eric, what color's your guitar? I want to see if it's red. It'll be really funny if it is.
Tomato?
Tomato. We're talking about Colorama.
Oh.
Colorama.
I thought he was describing color.
No.
It was like doubling down on tomato. I was very confused. This comment is missing context.
new piece of sandpaper.
Here, have mine.
That's not new.
It's new to you.
Technically, it's not. It's mine. We got David from Montreal, Canada. Hi, David. Welcome to the stream. We're doing a lot of sanding. It's not that interesting. Will you hand me the scissors? Thank you.
I really wanted to practice bad safety just to see how many comments I could get.
Catch.
No, hand them to you open, holding one of the blades.
David asks if I make lefties. Well, you know, Troy's a lefty, but that's only when he's wrong.
Okay.
Troy doesn't play guitar left-handed, but he does everything else that way.
Not everything. Actually, only writing. I still shoot right-handed.
Is that safe for advertiser talk?
I go hunting right-handed.
Okay.
Same difference. You realize there are gun like YouTube channels.
Yeah, and they don't get monetized. My first guitar was a Sears and Roebuck.
Tiesco.
I still have my second guitar Dad bought me. A Paul copy. I have a 70s Les Paul copy. It's what's the brand? Hondo. It's a Hondo. I have a 70s Les Paul copy, but we've had all the internals changed out. Troy likes it. I don't like it as much, but
I think it sounds really good. I don't necessarily like the way it feels, but I like the way it sounds.
well, it's got really nice pickups in it.
What's the neck on it like? Maybe that's why I don't like it.
It's big. It's the heaviest guitar I own. It's also glossy, which is probably why you don't like it.
Yeah. I just flipped a bunch of white dust in my face. I'm like going cross-eyed looking in that cutout.
Billy Wright says, my first guitar was a cheap Yamaha, now I own 3 of them.
There's definitely that phase whenever we first started playing where it was just buy as many cheap guitars as possible.
I like Yamahas. Even cheaper Yamahas, I think.
I'm not playing an electric.
I've never played an electric Yamaha. I've seen a few, but I've never played one.
basses.
Yeah, well, yeah, I play one every Wednesday. But
And I think that's actually the only, well, maybe 1 or 2 Yamaha acoustics I've played. But I have trash taste in acoustic because I don't play them.
you just play somebody else's.
I don't own one, so yeah.
What happened to the one you had?
Well, I have it. It's just not acoustic electric, so I can't plug it in.
Oh, that's right.
Sundays.
Yeah, we could do that. You know, I know a guy who works on guitars.
You want to put pickups in that piece of junk?
I mean, I'm just saying we could, not that we should.
I got that one for free.
Eric says, well, the contrast is good. I wonder if he's talking about the fact that I'm working on a black one and you're working on a white one. Troy and I have always been opposites. It works out that way. It's kind of fun.
Yes, he knows what he's doing, produces high quality work, and I'm over here with a belt sander. That's how I started sanding them. Actually, it is.
I'm trying to think.
Whenever I was probably 17.
Could be. Eric says no.
See? Well, I don't know. I mean, I was taking finish all the way off, and I didn't want to be there for forever, so I did it the fast way. It was an $80 guitar. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. You have to learn by doing dumb stuff, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why it's always like start on something cheap, start on something you can afford to just screw up, because you probably will.
I didn't watch videos or anything. All I wanted to do was take it back down to wood, paint it a color, put it back together, and sell it. No. Did use palm sander and belt sander though, which I probably did that one.
Yeah, I'm sure we did. Oh, we shaped the horn on the purple one with a power sander.
And I was used to using,
Power tools from work.
yes,
Yeah.
used to work with stone, and so I was like, I can put 440 on this, and it's not gonna touch it, because
Billy Wright asked, he wants to respray a satin soundboard. Wants to respray a soundboard with satin finish. What did I just buy? Minwax? I just bought a can of rattle can Minwax lacquer in a satin finish, and it's fairly nice. It sprays really well. It actually sprays on a nice fan. It smells terrible, but it's nice. How many coats? Enough. It depends. Depends on how heavy you go on. You want to go on light, so more coats and lighter application is better than the alternative. But it's hard to say.
it helps
I'm
if I
not an
use the
expert.
correct side of the sandpaper. I don't know. How many?
No, I'm just making sure there's nothing that you
Is that poly? If I'm talking about the Minwax stuff, it's lacquer. It comes in a black can. It's got a funny spray tip on it, and it's usually not with the spray paint. It's usually with the stains, like wood stains. If you're going to the big box store, that's where it is. I'd go get it, but it's really, really far away, and I don't want to have to go get it. Mm-hmm. Eric says the backside of that sandpaper is about 2,500 grit. You're gonna be there a while. It's more like a polishing
Yeah, we
pad.
just went from one extreme to the other. Went from belt sander to sanding with paper. Yes.
Yes. Make sure you use proper ventilation with lacquer. Anytime you're spraying anything, you really ought to
Just hold your breath.
It's a lot like welding. If your eyes are closed, you're okay.
Brings back memories of old jobs. About to make a lot of dust. I don't have safety glasses or a mask. Close my eye, turn away. Yep. Shirt over the nose.
I'm trying to decide whether it's... Anytime somebody do something stupid at Jerry's, Jerry would always go, all right, here's our safety talk. Don't do that. That was it. Whether it was him or me or any, it's like he's about to do something a little dangerous. Here's our safety talk. Let's not do this. And then he'd do it.
You just have like a jump cut where you're like, well, the only way I can figure out how to do this isn't very safe. So I'll figure out a way and get back to you. So anyway, got that done. Unrelated note, took a visit to the ER.
I haven't really hurt myself doing this too bad.
Yet.
Mr. Kamani asked if I'm in Missouri like Jerry. Yeah, just like the total opposite side. Jerry's down on the
He's kind of central.
southeast. Yeah, it's central. You're right. He's halfway between Springfield and St. Louis, Missouri. And we're up further north. We're just about 50 miles south of Kansas City.
Practically in Kansas.
Yeah, we're right. It's what? Actually, 15 miles? 20 miles to the state line?
Something like that.
It's about a 3-hour drive to Jerry's. It was a long drive.
Yeah. I did that drive a lot.
Same.
How is there still an outline on this from the back plate?
It was probably tightened so tight it pressed in the wood.
Like that.
Yep.
Have I beat this horse dead enough yet?
Probably for that purpose. You should go grab the purple one now.
No, I don't want to show that one on camera.
I've shown it, not super recently, but
Oh. It's quite thin.
yeah, it is what it is.
Make a good travel guitar. That's my excuse.
Yeah, you're just making it light.
Guitar and it always has been.
Yeah, it's just gonna be light. You could move that back over there. It still needs finish removed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Once you grab one of these off of the spindle sander and leave the sandpaper that's on it.
Okay. What grit's on there right now?
I don't know, but I'm sure it'll take it off pretty quick. There's still one over there on the bottom. Yeah, whichever one you think. Maybe grab both.
What is this? This is 80.
I'll take the purple off pretty quick. Oh, there's a piece of binding floating around over there on the floor.
I just cleaned this place. Can't
Luthier
let
was-
it get like this.
Yeah, well. Luthier was working on my guitar, dropped a cordless drill while it was on the bench and knocked a hole in it. He's done a fine job of repairing the hole. Well, that sucks. Accidents happen. Yikes. That's why it's important to keep a clean desk.
Like you would know about that.
Actually, though,
Do as I say, not as I do.
yeah, well. I don't have anything hanging above work, though.
That's fair. There's nothing that can drop down.
Right. My mic, but it's not going to happen, I imagine. And if it does, it's fairly soft. Now everybody gets to hear me tapping on it. When you refinish the top, you put it back in the case prematurely and left a big smudge mark on the top. So he poked the hole in it. He did a good job of covering it up, put finish on it, and put it in the case while it was still not hard. That sucks. But I guess if you're gonna refinish the whole top, I'd scrape the finish off. That's probably the easiest way to make sure you're not taking off any bonus wood, and then you could spray it on there pretty easily. I am assuming it's bound, so it'll cover up, the binding will cover up any seams where finish meets fairly well.
Time to change all of my 90-degree angles to 45s.
It's beveled.
I can't say I can say same.
Learning how to fix your mistakes and hide them. Matthew is 100% correct. I mean, the longer you do it, the less mistakes you're gonna make.
You mean what mistakes?
Yeah, well, and not so much mistakes, but like there's a lot of things that you're gonna have to more or less break to fix, right? Like if you have a bunch of broken internal braces, you're gonna have to take the back off, and the back doesn't just come off. You break it to take it off. So now your job is to cover up what you broke to fix it.
Oh, I about dropped it again.
James asks if I'm basically interested in building mandolins, and at the moment I am not super interested in building mandolins. I'd like to at some point get around to it, but I don't need to be buying stuff to build mandolins right now. I don't have room for the stuff I have. Troy, would you like a mandolin?
He made jigs.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Asked if I was interested in having some jigs. I don't have room for jigs. I don't have room for anything. Everything's packed in here as tight as I can get it.
What did you ask me?
You want a mandolin?
Why do I want a mandolin?
I don't know.
No. I don't want to learn how to play mandolin.
Yeah, Troy's gonna be a banjo player. I've said it now.
Troy
It has to
would
happen.
like to learn, potentially.
I've said it online. Now it has to happen. James, I really appreciate the offer, but I really don't have room for anything extra at the moment. I am overflowing with stuff. Jerry would say 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bag. Problem is we're at like 20 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bag. In England, we would say today are mostly been sanded. Do be.
Everything about this corner is miserable.
You want a smaller?
It's not coming off very well.
You can use this one. The
It's on this.
should be about the same.
It's the same. Felt grittier.
You can use this one too. It's over there, in front of the. Right there.
Oh, are you sure?
It's a little
Are you
bit
done
bigger.
with it, or-
Well, I'll take this one and.
Okay.
Yeah, Matthew said, Eric, you speak proper like what I does. Yes, sir. What was it? So, when I started doing videos with Jerry, I think everybody was kind of used to the way Jerry talked and assumed that it was just Jerry. But when I started there was a lot of comments about how funny we talked, and I didn't really think, I don't think we talk all that funny most of the time, but every once in a while I say something and I just go, that was very, very local of me. I'm trying to think of what it was that I said. It was, doesn't much matter to me, I suppose.
Yeah, that's pretty hillbilly.
Colloquial. Yes. The one that happened at Jerry's that was good
I
enough
like how
to
you
go.
followed that phrase up with the word colloquial.
Well, it was.
The duality of man.
I reckon. Yeah. One that happened at Jerry's, I said, that ended up, I laughed at it because I was editing the video, was I was steaming a neck out of a guitar, and I said, yeah, it's steaming something fierce. And I was editing the video, and I started laughing, and I was like, all right, it's going on the thumbnail. Steaming something fierce.
Something fierce.
Carson hates it when we're going to go out to eat, and I don't know where we're going to go, and I ask him, what you got a hankering for? I'm fixing to have a hankering for whatever, but that's just being silly.
I'm thinking of all what my parents and grandparents say, where they're like, warsh.
Yeah, Grandma says wash and window.
My mom, I don't know why, I've not heard anybody else, but she calls them, instead of window sills, they're window seals. Like, No, you're wrong. They're windowsills.
When Grandma's being silly, she says Ewins.
Ewins.
Ewins coming. Wins is. 3-card Monty says in Philly we say you'll forget about it.
How about I just go take this over to the spindle sander? And now you understand.
Have you tried this direction?
I have not. See, that's not with the grain.
Actually, it is.
Like, well, there it is. I'm also afraid of doing one of these.
Yeah, that's true.
Not that it matters for this piece of junk anyway.
Sanded through my primer right around the
It
sound.
could have been a piece of junk before. You'll never know because I touched it. Yes?
I'm looking for,
For
yeah, something. Looking for, yes. Yes.
looking for love.
In all the wrong places.
Is all my friends.
Robert said original contour. I assume talking about you. It's just for
Yes.
that extra reach now. You can
Yeah.
get all the way in there.
Honestly, if I say it was intentional, who are you to argue with me?
Disregard your facts.
I reject your reality and replace it with my own.
Yes.
Yes. It's a pretty popular line of thought these days. Don't fit right in.
We are on the internet.
My steamer went to leaking.
When's it coming back? Oh man.
Don't you know, Caleb? Only my dad jokes are funny. It's obligatory that you hate all dad jokes but your own.
Yeah. The edges sure don't like to hold finish. But they need sanded, so
I think your sandpaper's just hungry for edges.
yeah. My sandpaper likes those brownie pans with the the maze, so that it's all edges.
All edges?
Yeah, like it's got, so like a 13 by 9, but it's got a piece here and a piece here, so every piece is an edge. Because some people like that.
Why would you buy that though?
I don't know.
See, I don't know other luthiers. I know Jerry and Caleb, and that is all.
Yeah. That's Ted. He's a good job. He's a good job. He's really good. But he's Canadian, so you got to give him a break.
Speaking of YouTube search histories with music related stuff.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know, 4 a.m., the usual time that you start going through strange things on YouTube.
Yeah.
I started looking up vocal fry. You ever heard of that?
No.
And I really want to teach myself how to do it, but it's basically what the techniques that they teach how to safely scream or add grit to your vocals.
You think that'll go over well with the worship team?
Yes, absolutely. So I got lost in the YouTube rabbit hole at like 4 a.m. watching all these videos. I'm like, oh, that's how they do it.
3-Card Monty said Amazing Grace on Vocal Fry.
I'm sure it's been done already. Yeah, I hate the fact that I like YouTube Shorts because it just makes me very aware of my own dwindling attention span.
I don't watch them. Dad does, but I think Carson does, but I don't.
It depends on what they're on.
It's something I should probably get into because, you know, if you did like a real big job and fit it into a minute, that'd probably bring in good viewership, but I can't get into it.
If I knew how to edit, I would help you. But I don't.
The other problem is I don't exactly fit the kind of content that would short form is not what I do. You know, how many of my videos are 45 minutes long or longer?
I mean, I guess even if it was just a form of like where you show beginning product, like, you know, whatever the repair is that you have to do, and then you know, you show the end and you're like, follow my YouTube channel if you want to see the whole thing. And that would be like, it's a YouTube short, so it's just basically advertisement anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's all they really are. You don't need to.
Do you get ads on shorts?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, guess what? Starting February. In case y'all didn't know, they're adding ads to shorts starting February. Because as of right now, you can't monetize them, but you can starting February.
So I guess you start doing shorts in February then.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems a little cold out for shorts, but that's just me. It is my turn now.
Look at me. I am the dad now.
Hey, that depends on what part of the hemisphere you look at it.
That's true.
Yeah, I think so.
Around here.
Was that round here, Troy? Did you say round here?
No. Oh, let's not do that.
Hey, look. Mills Guitars is live.
Yeah, crazy. Almost like I was trolling your live comments earlier. I'm looking at this thing you told me to look up on YouTube, and we're like 15 seconds in, and he's already said the bastard word.
Troy, language. This is a strictly PG channel.
Yeah, your PG viewer recommended a video to me. Alright, what is it? Is this all... What is this? That doesn't even... What is all this? Is this too
320.
high? Okay. Well, I ain't getting in there with this. So.
Okay, there's more in the white cabinet on the bottom. trying to very carefully do these edges. Yeah, probably. That's probably as low as I can go. The green stuff, is it green?
Green is 120.
Oh, then yeah. Anders asked if I'm still friends with Jerry and do I miss him. Yes, I'd say I'm still friends with Jerry. I don't talk to Jerry very much. Yeah, I'd say I'm still friends with Jerry. There's no reason not to. I wouldn't be. Do I miss him? You know, if I miss him, I just go watch his videos. There are parts I miss about being down there. I've been going through all the footage from building Troy's guitar recently, while we were down there. And there's a lot of funny things Jerry'd come in and say. A lot of stuff that got cut. But it was fun, you know. Yeah, he was a funny old man.
Is.
That's true.
Very generous, though, to let us use all that stuff.
Yes.
I still am like.
Well,
Just let me, a total stranger, just.
He actually helped us with it
Yeah.
for a little bit when we had to use the metal lathe.
Did that even make it in the video?
I don't know, probably not. I don't remember. Yeah, I'm sure we had to talk about that. We had him turn it. I don't remember. We've come to the point in which, yeah, that
bridge
video
I bought was wrong for the
it
body.
was too tall. It was from Stu Mack, and we should have. The review said this bridge is too tall, and then we bought it, and guess what?
Yeah, trust everything you read on the internet. That was the lesson I learned that day.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll never make that mistake again.
I saw Jerry last May, and I still, see him every once in a while, but it's a ways away, so I don't go down there all the time. I don't know what that's in reference to.
I don't either. I'll just pretend I didn't read it.
I think I am almost done here. There's a little bit of texture on this right here. Oh, we've been going for 2 hours. Look at that. I said there's no way I'll go for 2 hours.
Ah, well. After the first hour, your content finally arrived.
Alright, well, Troy's going to take over for the rest of it. I'm going to leave. And by the rest of it, I mean the rest of the channel. It's just going to be Troy.
It's okay. We're not going to do anything concerning guitars.
Channel name staying the same, though.
I'm just going to get into verbal fisticuffs with your live chat.
From now on, we'll be strictly arguing.
Yes. It's what I'm good at. It's what I've done. Man, I
Are
am.
you good at it, though?
Yes.
I disagree. So I've got a Gibson coming. A customer sending me an old Gibson.
To work on or to keep?
Well, I wish, but to work on. Like an L4, I think. I think it's structural problems, so it's going to need some glue. So y'all get to look forward to that. Yes, I have performed neck resets on old Yamahas, and yes, they are the absolute worst. Like the second guitar I ever did at Jerry's was an old Yamaha we pulled the neck on, and it was terrible. Eventually enough heat and water and the epoxy did let loose, but yeah, the old Yamahas are really, 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 really bad, because it's some kind of epoxy. Which is a shame, because for a lot of those old Yamahas, if you can get them to play well, they sound good for what you spend on them. That's probably the number one thing I look for when we go to a store and there's used stuff, is old Yamahas. Because I think they sound good for what you spend on them. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I've ever had a Yamaha come out really easily. But I've done, like, there was a couple of weeks where I did a Yamaha, and then, like, maybe a week or two later I did a Martin. And the Martin just, like, jumped out after I started applying pressure, after just the tiniest amount of steam. And if that doesn't show the the difference, it's different. It's way easier to do a nice guitar because they're glued with nice glue.
Yes.
Nothing? Looks like it's coming along well.
Still has the purple.
It's been infected with the purple.
Yes.
I kind of thought I had finished stripping that, but I guess I hadn't. I think this needs about another coat of primer. And then,
I could honestly just add thickness to this with primer. You just
yeah, just paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could spray it with bed liner.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
protect the finish.
That'd be comfortable.
Yeah. Strum too hard, lose all of your fingernails.
Or, you rest your arm on it and you just scrape it off. It's exfoliating.
What a terrible idea. We should build one.
Usually they talk about buckle rash on your guitar. Well, it would do the opposite.
At the beginning of the gig, I had a shirt. At the end, I'm not wearing anything.
You could do that and we could sand another guitar with it.
What a terrible idea.
I mean,
Just using a guitar body as a sanding block.
Well, it's flat, isn't it? Alright, I need to do some sanding in the cavity, and then I think I'm as far as I'm going to be able to get on this.
I don't want to work on that corner. You can't make me. Hey. Moving your clamp.
That's fine. It's not fine.
I don't care.
I disagree.
It's happening.
I think that's as good as I'm going to get on this
Man,
thing.
this is uncomfortable. Why did I use my right hand for this?
I think another coat of primer and this thing will be just about ready for actual clear coat gloss finish on top. It's supposed to be black, like nice glossy black, and that's what I'm hoping to get it back as. You looking for something?
No. Continue.
Okay. Because I'd like to get this finished here pretty quick. I feel a little bad that I put out part 1 last year. And then I haven't touched it since. Well, it's not that I haven't touched it, it's just that it's been low priority compared to customer projects. So hopefully I can actually get this thing done. That would be neat. Smooth. Except for right there. I keep finding spots. That's why sanding is the best part. Because you think you're done, and you're not.
Yes?
Nothing. I think I'm just about done with this thing. Which means it's ready to go back out to get a little more spray on. I think I'm going to call it here. We've been going for 2 hours. Seems like a good time to call it a day.
Yeah. I didn't get anything done. It's a great time to call it a day.
Yeah. So, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for participating in the live chat. I really appreciate it. Maybe we'll do this again sometime. I don't know. Maybe sometime I'll have a better idea of something to do live than just watch me sand. But maybe not. So, once again, thanks for watching everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later.